We just hit a really big milestone that I'm really personally quite proud of, especially with the team that we've had it with. And it is, let me pull it up really fast here. We hit over 1,000 VOD reviews, public VOD reviews on tank support and DPS combined. If we include team as well, we're approaching 1,100, as well as some of the coaching the coach stuff as well. This has been something that we've been doing for the last couple of years. It's definitely an idea that I had when I transitioned away from doing these VOD reviews on stream, doing them individually for each person with the person in voice, and then uploading them. And then having the stream and the non-stream option was just my way of continuing to be able to do content, but more importantly, to be able to provide that content for public viewing. And I just felt like it was just by far the best educational resource out there, because that was the way that I learned the most. When I saw other coaches giving VOD reviews, that's how I learned how to coach better myself. And I wanted to make sure that resource was out there. But to be honest with you guys, like I'm very proud of it myself, and it's fun to watch the progression of my ability to coach better over time. And I still have much to learn, but I think the biggest thing for me has been the team that has really been part of this. A lot of you guys don't know this, but I mean, you guys should know this, but this is really a team venture. I mean, this is not a one-man show. And I realized that pretty darn quickly once I wanted to start doing a better job. I think if you want to do a better job with anything that you do, you have to develop a team that is really competent and has their own skills. And I find that maybe my most important skill in the last couple of years has not been my ability to coach. It's my ability to just find people who are really good at what they do and are really willing to help out. I don't take any credit for their skills and talent. For example, a lot of the rebranding stuff, the stuff that we kind of take for granted all of a sudden now, that was a good friend of mine, Gabe. Gabe is really good at what he did. He reached out to me during a coaching session and offered to help out. And I was like, all right, we'll give it a shot. And Gabe is single-handedly had more impact on this channel's growth and change more so than any other character. I say that, oh my God. My brain is cooked. I've been coaching Overwatch too long, more than any other hero, or any other champ, and it's just not only been phenomenal in terms of his suggestions. He's the one that came up with the thumbnails and the titling, the system that we're able to use today. And this is just the stuff they did at Spilo too. But he's been a really good friend. So shout out to Gabe. You guys have no idea how many things have gone behind the scenes that he has helped out with. But more than just Gabe, right? We've had Chicken, who's a good friend of mine as well, who did a lot of the thumbnails for a long time. And now Stefano, you guys might know Stefano. He's also an Overwatch coach, and he's getting his own thing started relatively soon. Phenomenal coach, and I don't say that lightly. He's also been helping me out with the thumbnails most recently, because it's a relatively easy system that we have, but it does take some time to schedule these out. And Stefano, Chicken, and especially Gabe, these guys have been just putting in time to help this out. And this wouldn't be happening without these people. And I want to really thank them for the amount of time that they put out. And this is all due to, this is a team effort here. But I also want to shout out one more person who's probably more important than even Gabe when it comes to these things. And this is not corny. This is the gospel truth, right? I want to shout out you students. If you've ever received coaching from me and had your video public, I want to thank you for doing that, right? That's definitely something that we took for granted, but as these sessions have kind of grown a little bit, it is a little bit anxiety inducing, I know, to be publicly put on record. You know what I'm saying? It's scary. It's scary. I've just noticed that Stefano put Torbjorn eyes on the tracer. But it is stressful, right? You know, you're worried about, like, what are people going to say? Am I going to look stupid when I'm playing or when I'm reviewing? Am I going to sound weird over the microphone? Trust me, I've been through those kind of things myself a million times. But people do it. And there's a little bit of a discount to go public for sure. But I think the vast majority of the people, I've even had private sessions offered to go public just because the community is so willing to put themselves out there because they know that other people will learn from them. And I find that to be so touching and so selfless and so kind that every single one of these students deserves some praise for their willingness to open themselves up publicly, oftentimes, to just let other people learn more, to let other people, and to be honest with you guys, I think that that's the most beautiful aspect of humanity, and so many of these sessions is just how much insight we get into what makes people tick. And I know that oftentimes those start of those sessions can be a little bit repetitive. If you've seen 1,000 Philo VOD reviews, you've seen them all, I guess. We've definitely, there is a system, a way that I approach things, and the reason I do it that way is to make sure that's consistent in quality. I have experimented and I learn new things, but I think the most important thing is that I try to treat each person as an individual, and every person that I've worked with is really, really willing to be vulnerable and discuss, not just Overwatch even. And so students, thank you guys so much for doing this. You have no idea how many hundreds and thousands of people that you have impacted. Even just the views, right? Like just imagine 10% of those people of the views actually watched this session and listened. Think of that, 10% of 2,000, that's 200 people. 200 people that actually listened, and that's a lot. That should never, ever be undervalued. So I want to thank the students for doing this. It's just really appreciated. And I do my best to moderate as much as I can. There are occasionally some rude comments that I have to delete. I try to go through about every week and try to delete any insulting comments. If you've ever seen any of those, please highlight any that I may have missed. It's really unfortunate that how beautiful a certain aspect is that sometimes there's the very, very ugly minority that comes out. And I saw a hackuzation in one of my comments, or how was this guy this rank? People can be very rude because people are just people and people are rude. But for the most part, I think what's really shown out to me is more just how kind and beautiful, and oftentimes the supportive. I've seen a lot of really, really kind. I mostly see really kind and really supportive YouTube comments. So shout out to you guys as well. I appreciate the support that everyone's giving, and I appreciate the students as well. So obviously, it's a team effort, and I appreciate that. But it's, like I said, the team is bigger than you think. The team is bigger than you think when it comes to putting these things together. So we're gonna keep rolling here. Obviously, a channel like this is never going to go viral. It is exactly what it intends to be. This is not a channel that was intended to make buckets of cash or explode with thousands of views. It's just not. If you have ears to hear, then you're going to enjoy this kind of thing. If this is what you need, this is what you're going to be doing. But this is never a channel that was meant to go viral. So this will continue on as long as I'm Overwatch coaching, and there will be more and more, hopefully, higher quality sessions. And I just want to thank you guys all for sticking around and not just subscribing, but viewing and taking the time. And I hope that it's been helpful. I do know that it is difficult to find value from educational content. Trust me, I've been the first to talk about that many times, but I hope that this has been one of the more useful educational content pieces out there, because we've definitely put the work into it. So anyway, I just wanted to shout out. I posted another crazy post about it, so maybe you guys will enjoy that. And that's about all I got. So yeah, have a good rest of your week.